We're gonna talk about some random stuff. First, I actually want to talk about lanterns, man. We do not have good news. We do not. I think, and it's not that it's news, but it's just like it kind of got popular again when people were like researching Green Lantern, where, people are looking up old videos of James Gunn talking about Green Lantern, all that fun freaking crap, right? I even forgot about it. I remember I was talking to somebody on a stream about how excited I am for it, what I think, my predictions or whatever. I don't like James Gunn, right? I think that's not a freaking secret. Why is there so much damn lag, dude? Okay. Holy F, there's effing lag. Alright. So, it's no secret that I've been criticizing James Gunn, and I don't think he knows what to do with superheroes. All he can do is really Guardians of the Galaxy, take a bunch of ragtag team that nobody knows about and make it good. Like, all three Guardians movies have, they're decent in and of themselves, okay? They're all good in their own way. The first one, to me, is the best one. But Green Lanterns, even after Superman, I was like, okay, the Green Lantern Corps, that's kind of in his wheelhouse, right? There's so many Green Lanterns that he can actually create his own Green Lantern characters, make a bunch of goofy Green Lanterns, do some space stuff, like maybe some training with Jon Stewart, all that stuff, and then end the series, come into Earth, and something where it could be his own original story, but it's still respectful to the comics, because it would be just like a modification. It wouldn't be just disrespectful, just change name and character only, and then the character itself has nothing to do with the comics or what we knew before. So, which I would say it's one of the very few characters that the Green Lantern itself, he could have went with, we're not going to do Jon Stewart, we're not going to do Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, we're creating a whole nother character, and that's who we're following. And it could have been interesting, it could have been whatever race he wanted, whatever build, height, ethnicity, all that stuff. And he could even made it an alien or a human. It doesn't matter. He could have done that stuff, right? So he went with Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, which is an interesting choice. And then he talks about how it's going to be grounded. It's a telestial story. It's about space cops being cops on Earth more than... And I think they are going to have costumes. Are they going to be cool? Maybe not. I'll replay the interview just so you guys can have a refresher in your head on what his whole plan was. I honestly don't know why the last few streams have been super laggy.
When you say grounded, how grounded? Are we going to see superhero costumes? Are we are we stripping it down even further?
Well, I don't want to give away all that stuff, but it's I think grounded, just if Green Lanterns were real, what the fuck would they be and how would they be? I was thinking about it the other morning because I kept being because the thing that keeps getting out is it's a terrestrial story,
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, because it's on Earth. The story takes place on Earth. Everybody's like, "Oh, we don't want to see their outer space. They fly with rings. We don't want to see a,
Who's saying we don't want to see that?
They're on Earth for the story, like most Green Lantern stories. It's terrestrial bound. Right. It's not in outer space. We don't have 1,000 Green Lanterns. All that stuff. And it's it's a grounded story that's being told through another lens in a way that's really commensurate. You know, it's an HBO series, and it's going to be an HBO series, and I'm happy with that, and I love the scripts.
Okay, I am not freaking A. Look, what concerns me the most is that he said it's going to be an HBO series. What does that mean? Probably tits and dick, dude. That's probably what it means. Like, that's an HBO series. When I think HBO series, I'm thinking Sopranos, Game of Thrones, is Banshee HBO? Pretty much anything that's going to show dick and tits, I think HBO. And just from Peacemaker, yeah, that's what he's kind of going for. So I don't want my freaking Green Lanterns to be an adult story. Like, I just don't understand why. And he's like trying to be all cool and edgy and like cussing all the time. It's like, dude, there has to be, in the whole DC universe, at least one of the characters, they have to have some purity within the story that isn't cussing and sexual and whatnot. Like, and you think that would have been with Superman, but they didn't. They made it very much so like, hey, there's gonna be cursing, people like your heroes flipping people off, like all this freaking stuff, and it's like, okay, what the hell? But yeah, man, it's freaking. It's really dumb. So I no longer have hope for Green Lantern. It was dumb for me to even have hope, but I was just thinking, yeah, it's in his wheelhouse, and I just forgot about all these interviews. I was just so pissed at Superman that I thought that's, we were gonna get something good. That was in James Gunn's wheelhouse. Even if the music ain't right, it's all his soundtrack, and there's no identity to the Green Lanterns via music. I thought at least we were gonna get something good, but it doesn't look like. And I'm not gonna go through every freaking interview, everything he said about the Green Lanterns. It's gonna take way too much time. But if you guys want to go look it up yourself, it just, as a comic book fan, it doesn't sound like he's gonna do the Green Lanterns justice. As a story in his own universe, it doesn't seem like it's really gonna gravitate towards people who like superheroes. And superheroes are not necessarily rated R. There are rated R themes, like the Punisher comics, you could say it's rated R. Daredevil's like half and half, but especially Green Lanterns, like nobody, like we even had films that were PG-13, like cartoons, and those ones were like had risque stuff, but it was still, like some chick like smoking crack and getting hella high, and then Hal Jordan goes and arrests her, and it's a pretty good movie. But like there's subtlety, and James Gunn doesn't have that, so I don't think we're going to get good freaking Green Lantern. And I think that one will be the nail in the coffin for his stupid universe. So like and subscribe, douchebags. Freaking idiot. What a moron. A-hole, dude. But okay. So there was this beautiful fool in the comment section of one of my Mandalorian teaser reaction of the Super Bowl teaser bullcrap, right? And I pointed out that it's kind of dumb to have 4 Tauntauns pulling a you could say a sled that floats. I forget what it was even called, or what he called it, right? And he rightfully called me out, rightfully so. Like, no hate to it. It's I didn't. It's a reaction. I'm not thinking all the way through. But regardless, the repulsor lift technology, right? Regardless, like, props to him. Episode 2 had that. Also stupid in episode 2. But episode 2, it's dumb that they're even on it, and I'll give you guys the context. It's also dumb that it exists, but it's one of those luxury type deals, right? So I wanted to point it out because, like, even the original trilogy, like, deserves criticism. Well, I'm not just hating on. I'm hating on things that don't make sense. I'm not just hating on Disney Star Wars, like, and I'm not hating on George Lucas's Star Wars. I'm pointing out inconsistencies and problems within the story or the technology, like, and it's fine in this aspect in a way, and I'll explain it a little bit better. So let's get to freaking the episode 2 scene that this brother was referencing, right? So if you see over here, we got right here, we got like pretty much the repulsor lift sled things by robots. Okay, so in essence, they wouldn't weigh anything because like you could just pull it. It's not dragging, right? So there's not really, doesn't matter what you put on there. There's not really much weight. You know, it's just momentum. Maybe the push is gonna have a little bit of weight, but it's all momentum. Okay, so let's just watch this scene real quick. So you see those two. You see a speeder right next to him. You know, and then they pull up. Okay, why is this scene problematic in and of itself? The issue with this scene is a whole lot of reasons. One reason is the obvious, where he's supposed to be protecting her, right? And then she went with him. And in the story, they don't really show danger of somebody coming after Padme, which is, I would say, would have been very nice to see, like, him defending her, and then she kind of like starts loving him because she's seeing that the more mature side of him and the innocent side at the same time, where he doesn't really know how to talk to a girl, but he knows how to, you know, be a man, essentially, be a Jedi. And that kind of like dispels, like, that would have been nice. But anyways, this to me, like, is already dumb because of her garb. What she's wearing shows that she is an adult that is either financially well off, but is going to also stand out, right? Not necessarily a princess, but on a mission where you're trying to hide the fact that she is that she's royalty and you want to protect her. Not necessarily, you don't want her necessarily dressing up all super nice. Okay? And then you also want to hide the fact that you're a Jedi. So when you left Coruscant, he wore a poncho. In Phantom Menace, when they went to Watto, Qui-Gon Jinn wore a poncho. Hide the fact that he's a Jedi. And Anakin just willy-nilly, like I'm gonna blame George on this. Like, you already set it up that people shouldn't know you're a Jedi. Like, people are gonna start talking, right? So he could have worn a poncho because he did it in scenes before. But I would still give it a little bit of leeway, even with all the idiocies, all the stupidity, just because there is a freaking robot, no strength, you know, and they're not really carrying anything. So it's more like a luxury thing. It's kind of like if you... I don't know how many cities do this anymore, but I've seen it especially during winter time. There's always what's it called? There's always like a horse carriage, right? And then you pay the man some money, and then boom, you are on your way, and you are just having fun, right? It's a luxury thing. It's not necessarily a way to go around. So it's just gonna be a small luxurious thing to do, right? But they could have walked because they went straight to the spaceport. But regardless, it's a luxury thing. In the Mandalorian Grogu teaser, they are trying to play it off as it's a practical thing, and then they have 4 tauntauns dragging, like leading it, like sled dogs, you know, like a team. in my brain, if I really try to reconcile, the only solution that I have is like they have 4 because they're gonna start dying off with the cold weather. You know, just like how we saw in Empire. Even then, it's the amount of resources, how much that's gonna cost, or the time you're gonna have to take to keep capturing wild tauntauns and leading them. It's pretty damn stupid. Like, just go spend your resources, even steal a ship. Like, this is a bounty hunter and they're scum. Like, go steal something. You feel me? But anyway, so that has the little freaking sled thing. It's big enough so you could carry supplies. Okay. Even then, a speeder would just make way more sense. Okay? Like I said, episode 2, it was dumb, but it was more luxurious, like a luxury item. Mandalorian Grogu teaser, obviously they're on a mission. This isn't just like to hang out, to get information. We see the snowtroopers protecting the freaking Imperial fools, and they're probably going over there, right? And they're trying to go unnoticed, but tauntauns are actually pretty freaking loud. So I just don't see where that makes sense. Even though in episode 2 it doesn't make sense, but usually luxurious things aren't supposed to make sense. So that's where it gets the pass. I still don't like it. But Mandalorian Grogu, it doesn't get a pass because it's got 4 freaking tauntauns pulling it. It's not gonna have weight when it's floating with repulsor technology, and it could be propelled forward. And then you give the reins to a baby, like, so that he can drive it. That's pretty freaking stupid. I just wanted to put that out there. It's kind of ridiculous that I have to explain it. You know, like this in episode 2 is more Star Wars because it's just playing on the luxury parts, not the practical part. You know, scum, villainy. There's gonna be rich people on Tatooine. There's gonna be poor people, there's gonna be slaves, all that stuff, gamblers, whatever. And so people are gonna want to show off. There's gonna be things built just for show and not practical at all. Just like, hey, I'm just here, need to make a visit, and I need to come back, and that makes sense. On Mandalorian Grogu, they're gonna go on a mission, and then you strap 4 tauntauns. You gotta feed every single one of those. You put on that giant sled. It's going to be pretty loud. The speed isn't going to be very fast because of the tauntauns. And yeah, like, if it was a luxurious thing, I'd give it a pass, where it's like, look at these exotic animals, and you get to control them and go on the sled and have fun in the snow. Like, that's one thing, but you know, and here's the caveat. Maybe they make it make sense. Maybe they're trying to get away, and the only thing that's left is a bunch of tauntauns, and they got to carry some big item that he can't just sit on a tauntaun and ride it, and they put it on this floating thing that they just push a cart, and it's just supposed to be a 2-man cart in like a hangar. They attach it to the tauntauns, and then boom. You know, I could be wrong. I'm okay if I'm wrong, but in the teaser trailer, it just doesn't look good in isolation. It doesn't. So I'll give that caveat too. Like, there could be an explanation. I just don't think it's very Star Warsy if it's based off mission stuff. And you know, like, I'll admit I have a little bit of bias because of how garbage it is, how garbage the show is, and it didn't really make me want to go. Like, just having Grogu in the movie, I don't want to watch it. Like, Mandalorian is already freaking Superman. He like never takes, like, he's just invincible since season 3 at the very least, and I would say at least most of season 2, and it shows him being invincible in the trailer, so in the newest trailer. So yeah, just want to put that out there. Like and subscribe. Just freaking A, man. I will tell you this was funny. He also said, oh, what did he say? He said, the Tauntauns, the only thing they have in case, Don't get on YouTube. Please don't get on YouTube thinking you know everything there is to know when you haven't done the bare minimum of research. I thought was hilarious. I was like, dude, nobody on YouTube knows everything. And people do research, but reactions just react. Your initial thoughts, not your best thoughts, not like it's that simple. But whatever. So wanted to put that out there. Green Lanterns. Okay. What do we know? Let's get back to the Green Lanterns. I am not excited for it no more. I'm trying to think what's coming down the pipeline in terms of DC movies that I might have some excitement for. And I can't think of any because we're getting Supergirl, we're getting Swamp Thing. And Swamp Thing was something that James Gunn had no involvement in. I don't think it's going to be good, but he's just like, since we're releasing that, it's going to be part of it. And I did hear something about Henry Cavill coming in if Netflix takes over it. I don't know. Like, I don't think Henry Cavill is like too old, but I just think if you're gonna do a universe, like it needs to be fresh. I think the Zack Snyderverse is. We shouldn't try that again. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a good idea. I think we should stick with just revamping everything. Not James Gunn. He's an idiot. Like, get him out of there. He doesn't know what to do. Damn. I think we just got to live with the fact that we're gonna get crappy Star Wars, crappy DC, and Marvel seems, which is a crazy thing to say, they seem the most promising. Funny enough, they do. They seem the most promising. Do I think they're going to deliver? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do anything. Here's the thing with Marvel. They like to talk. Kevin Feige likes to talk. They never admit they're wrong. Okay? When you're that prideful, there's no way things are going to change. Like, here's the leaks of Doomsday. We know Tobey Maguire is going to be in it. We know that the Fox X-Men is going to be in it. We know it's going to be jam-packed, maybe with other characters we don't even know. You know, Gambit is going to be in it, so there's going to be, we're going to get elements of, I guess, Wolverine and Deadpool. So we're definitely going to get Hugh Jackman in it. And even if he's not in it, like, it's okay. Ryan Reynolds might be in it. Like, there are some things that are going to be hush hush, but I don't see them really believing in this. Like, they hired Robert Downey Jr. to be Doomsday, okay, to be Victor Von Doom. I'm not sure if they're going to do it justice just because of that casting. Like, Robert Downey Jr. isn't the best man for the role. He's a phenomenal actor, but it's because people love Robert Downey Jr. and seeing him back is the glimmer of hope that some of us retards grafted onto, because we're like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU, but he ain't Iron Man. And we needed somebody fresh to be Victor Von Doom, which is a bigger villain than Thanos by far. Like, he's, I would say, in Marvel Comics, some of the biggest villains that are spoken, like, always argued about, would be Magneto, Victor Von Doom, Galactus. For me, Mephistopheles, because I like Mephisto, but that's just me being biased. Like, but I even put Mephistopheles above, or Mephisto above Thanos. Let's see, Galactus. I'd even put Dormammu above Thanos, man. But yeah, like, Galactus and Victor Von Doom have always, at least those two for sure. Magneto's like always in the discussion of, like, is he really a villain? Like, he's a villain, but he's not, But yeah, like, you're taking Victor Von Doom, who at the very least, every comic fan that's ever picked up at least 10 issues of anything Marvel they will concede that even hearing about Victor Von Doom, way better villain than Thanos. Thanos is nothing compared to him. You know what I mean? And what are we? We're gonna get that film and then 2 Secret War films, and that's it. Like, where's the hype for this Doom movie? I don't really see it, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm freaking have my head in the dirt, but I just don't think there's gonna be anything good from that stupid casting. And one of the things that I always bring up, it pissed me off when Robert Downey Jr. put up a post on, I think it was on Instagram, or I don't know if it was on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was Instagram. Where it was like, I'm doing homework, and then he has the comic. Victor Von Doom is in the front, and it's like, everybody who's read that comic knows Victor Von Doom is not in that comic. He's just the art for the front of that stupid comic. So, like, obviously not doing any homework, so shut your freaking dick hole, dude. But anyways, that's it for Victor Von Doom and Doomsday. You know, like, subscribe, freaking A. F you, F Marvel. But who knows? They might make a correction. Spider-Man does not look good. We're getting Mark Ruffalo in there, and apparently we're getting, like, the good thing is Mark Ruffalo is a good actor. The bad thing is he's retarded, so it's just annoying to see him. Oh shoot, do I still got some apple juice? Hell yeah. Give me a second. But yeah, so we're getting Berserker Hulk, you know, the real, or Savage Hulk, I mean, my bad. We're getting Savage Hulk, so that's a good thing, but it would be a good thing in a different movie. I don't want to see Hulk in the Spider-Man movie. We're getting the Punisher. Love the Punisher. I know he was, his first appearance was in the Spider-Man comic. I don't want to see him. I like, think about it. This is the first time we're going to see Tom Holland potentially be the most authentic Spider-Man from the comics. Okay? Potentially. What do I mean by that? He was his own thing. He wasn't related to any comic books. Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU has nothing to do with comics, man. It's Spider-Man and Peter Parker in name only, and that's it. That is it. Okay? He wasn't bullied. You know, like, sorry, but a real bully is like beating the crap out of you. Like, I've been bullied. Words, like, I'll tell you what, by experience, words don't hurt at all comparing to getting stabbed. All right? Like, getting punched in the face and getting your teeth knocked out, that words won't hurt you after that. So, yeah, and then you got a fake MJ, and then at least you got Ned. Like, I like Ned. You know, I don't remember him being fat in the comics, and it's not my favorite iteration of the Hobgoblin when Ned becomes the Hobgoblin. But I was thinking, like, okay, they erased everything. Everything that happened Spider-Man. Like, Tom Holland, he has the memories. His Peter Parker has the memories, right? That's a good thing. Okay, that is your reboot to the MCU. With Spider-Man, with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Solid. All right, he's in college. He now has nobody. It's a story where in the comics eventually happens. Aunt May does die because, to be honest, we were kind of done with Aunt May for a while. Okay, we were it just became, you know, like damsel in distress, but you add this element where, like, he can't really talk to anybody. There's people that are alive that he knows but don't know him. So it's a really great place for any creative to be like, yo, we got an opportunity now to bring in Gwen Stacy, to bring in a real MJ, to bring in, like, beloved characters from comics and create a story where he's in college and, you know, things aren't going good for him because he has to hold down a job. He has to be Spider-Man. He's created his own suit, you know, and he has a pretty solid backstory. Like, he has, like, a good base. And then they could combine the best of both worlds, the MCU, and then, you know, the comic Spider-Man. And we already got, we already know Scorpion is a thing. We got the Sinister Six that we saw, and probably in his own world, he knows there's going to be Sinister Six. We know Venom, even though it doesn't make sense in the No Way Home. We do have Venom coming in, Tom Hardy's symbiote Venom. And we're probably going to get a Dr. Octopus. We got Vulture in it. So it's a good start. It's like things are going to happen, man. Like, we got to understand ramifications of the world when those who knew about Spider-Man no longer know who Spider-Man is. And it would have been really nice. It would have been nice to see, like, later on, maybe in the third film or a team-up film where, like, he sees, like, Doctor Strange again, but he has to, like, reintroduce himself. And he kind of already learned his lesson, like, hey, I was a kid, like Infinity War. It was really dumb for him to take off his mask when the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord has a gun to his head. And even though he realizes that he might be a good guy, you don't just take off your mask, right? And there's a point to a secret identity. So it would be a good restart in his own brain. Like, I can't show anybody. I can't trust anybody. And so then it's going to be that much more impactful when we get 6 films or 6 storylines, and he finally reveals to somebody he truly loves. Like, maybe he's going to, he falls in love with Mary Jane and shows her, like, yo, I'm actually Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff that would be great. But like, I don't think Marvel understands that, like, Spider-Man is your cash cow, and you need to, even though it's Sony owned, you need to capitalize on that film more than Doomsday, more than Secret Wars. It's that one. Because if you can show the fans that there is one character we can believe in, perfect. When we see that character in something else, we will feel at least 50% that, like, okay, they'll do that character justice right there, that one. And after a few films, obviously, after a few bangers, because you kind of, like, crapped on us pretty damn hard. But yeah, it's like, I think that's the best way. And also, on top of having Spider-Man Noir coming out like that, like, dude, if you want to capitalize on a good story and marketing, like, Spider-Man Noir is coming out. Let's say it's freaking perfect. Let's just say it's perfect. Great. Since it's perfect, boom, put it in there. You focus on the Spider-Man story and then release it, off the hype of Spider Noir. It's a no freaking brainer. And I hear people, because of the whole, Disney loves to race swap and do all the race stuff. Miles Morales is eventually going to replace Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it's not going to be good. Even if Miles Morales is, like, let's say it's perfect stories, 10 out of 10, it's just not Spider-Man. Like, I'd be okay introducing Miles Morales, but, like, Batman and Robin situation. He's a sidekick of an adult Spider-Man who's already kind of got his life fixed. He's not going to be a millionaire by any means, but he works as a scientist. He's also married to Mary Jane, and he's Spider-Man. He's probably has a kid on the way, and he kind of screw over Miles' life by getting him bit by a spider. But it was a more advanced spider, so he has different sorts of powers than actual Spider-Man. So then they give him, like, Arachno Man or something, or definitely a cooler name than that, but they make him a different Spider-Man with his own title, so he can be his own character. It's not a mantle being passed down. There is no mantles. Like Steve Rogers, Captain America. There is no other Captain America. Even, look, I like the comics. Even when Bucky gets the shield and then he becomes Captain America, in my mind, it's like, yeah, it's still Steve Rogers, though. You're Captain America, but you're not, at least to the comic fans. Like, if you put, again, I've always had an issue with the MCU just revealing identities. Even when I was a kid, my mom took me to watch Iron Man, right? I was a kid. I was like a teenager, right? We went to the movies together, and then he reveals, "I am Iron Man." I was not happy. I was happy throughout the whole film. When he revealed he was Iron Man, I was like, "Dude, the fuck? Like, what the hell was that?" You don't do that. Are you insane? Yeah, I hate that. I hate it when like it's just revealed that they're a freaking superhero, you know? Like Superman, I've never once wanted any, like, the best Lois Lane stories is when Lois Lane falls in love with Clark and then realizes he is Superman much later. And before they get married, like, she knows, but she waited for him to tell her. They do that in the Lois and Clark adventures. They do that in Smallville. They do that in the newer CW Lois and Clark. And like, it all is a great thing. It's all phenomenal. I love that. But we got the whole freaking... I love Iron Man, but come on, dude. It pissed me off. Like, you know, you're a hero and you're a billionaire, and you're just gonna tell people, like, imagine Batman just told people, "Yeah, I'm Batman." You're committing crimes, dude. Like when he said, like, "Yeah, I'm Iron Man." Oh, okay, so now the military has cause to arrest you because you were Iron Man, and then they saw you blow up one of the jets, and you have this technology, and you went to borders of different countries, and then now those countries have reason to go to war with the United States because a civilian with an incredible weapon that is how Tony Stark refers to as the nuclear deterrent infiltrated that country without permission and then killed a bunch of people. Regardless if they were bad guys, they did that without permission, so a bunch of countries would be freaking pissed. There are so many ramifications for telling people, anybody on TV nationally, that you are Iron Man and you are actively going around the world and killing people who you deem are bad. Immediately going to jail. Like, he even as a billionaire, he could definitely go bankrupt by the U.S. government. Like, "Oh, you guys leveled the city block. There's Obadiah Stane. We're going to take away all the resources of your company. We're going to, like, lock that. We're going to interrogate you. This can't happen. This is going to be a problem." Okay? Like, there's a lot of issues. And this is stuff, like, that comic book fans always talked about. And that's why I always thought it was a great thing when he had his own identity. He played the Playboy persona, effing chicks, whatnot, and then he went out and was a hero. Like, if you watched I forgot the name of the freaking movies. They were the Avengers movies. There's 2 of them, and everybody in the meeting is crapping on Tony Stark, and Iron Man's just like, "Damn, I didn't know people freaking hated me that much." And he still doesn't reveal himself. It shows that simple scene shows him not. Let me see if I could find it, actually. Give me a freaking second. Nope. It was the ultimate Avengers movie. That's what it was. And I think they're great movies. I think they do better than a lot of the MCU stuff. Let me see. Let me freaking see, man. Let me see, man. Damn. Okay. Let me. Check out that lag, dude. Eventually, I will get a PC, probably in like 5 or 10 years. When the algorithm finally picks up my channel, it's like, hey, you're doing a good job. Okay, let's check it out.
Everyone listen up. You're now officially part of Project Avenger. You'll be working as a unit under the command of...
Great. We'll all end up on ice.
So let's get started.
Dick. Iron Man.
Hey, T-Man. Come back for a rematch?
Jim, that's enough. Okay, now that we're all here. May 2nd, 1945.
They eventually start talking about freaking... This is a phenomenal film, by the way.
A nuclear warhead.
And Black Widow actually is a character. Like, she has...
And we owe a great debt of gratitude to the brave...
She's her own character. It's crazy.
General, how did the Nazis
Bruce
manage
Banner.
to acquire nuclear capabilities?
They used the word.
Extraterrestrials.
Oh, come on. Little green men?
Mr. Pym, I have seen these things. They've killed my men, so they are very real.
And
Damn.
just before they went into hiding, the unit photographer took these. The Germans called them Shatari.
Hiding? Why are they still here?
We don't know, but they move around in 3 ships and like to buzz our nuclear power plants and military facilities. We finally figured out how to track them, using a satellite to detect the unusual metal in their hulls. This is...
Like... Remember when they, like, just amplified ideas from the comics? Like, this is what the freaking Ultimate Avengers movie was. And it's not, like, the most perfect movie, but it's great. I think the art is phenomenal. I think the voice actors do a great job. I think it's really good.
That idea.
Oh my god.
So, how did you get a line on the metal they used?
One of their ships was destroyed when the Nazi warhead detonated. That was our first lucky break. The second, the aliens neglected to recover every piece of its wreckage. We got this hull panel and some fragments.
What kind of alloy is this?
Unknown. We call it vibranium. But whatever it is, it absorbs energy like a sponge.
Nice.
Prior to nuclear blast, nothing can penetrate it. Well, nothing except more vibranium. Unfortunately, the amount we've recovered is minimal.
Is Stark Enterprises working on a way to counteract it? Oh, please. Unless there's a decent buck to be made, Tony will just backburner us for the next 12 months.
I don't know how you guys put up with that arrogant jerk.
So the bottom line is, we can't find these ships, and we can't shoot them down if we do.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. What a rack, by the way. Oh. Okay. No more lag. All right. That's what I'm freaking talking about, man. Like, you know, he has to play the persona. Maybe not to protect the ones he loves, but protect himself. And, you know, like, hopefully he's not a douchebag and has people that he loves and protect the people he loves. But he's okay letting that go, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like people hating on him. But he does know how people see him, and it kind of sucks that, like, these are people he's gonna work with. Eventually, they find out his identity, and they kind of like give him props. They're like, okay, you know, I still think this way of you, but it's cool that you're risking your life. Like none of us knew who Iron Man was, and that's that. And it's cool because then only the Avengers find out. And they find out in a way where, like, they have to save his life, I think. I need to watch this movie again. It's so freaking good, dude. I can't remember. Like, this is the first one for sure. And the second one, they do have Black Panther. And it's awesome. And it's not my favorite iteration of Black Panther, but it is... it's one of my most memorable where he actually does get the powers of a Black Panther, like his face, and then he gets the agility and all that stuff. Because in Black Panther comics, he was more like an assassin. He just has skills and then had a Black Panther suit, and it was pretty freaking awesome. Kind of like a ninja. But then they gave him powers, and they took away those powers, and now it's like the flower power Kool-Aid stuff that we see in the MCU. So as long as you got some Kool-Aid, he could be Black Panther. According to the MCU. That's not me. That's the MCU. Yeah, so Kool-Aid and, disco freaking DJ hip-hop beats to open a portal to your home in Africa. Wild. They're thinkers over there. But yeah, like, I'm a huge fan of having a secret identity if you're a freaking superhero. It's that simple. It's not crazy. It's just so simple. Like, what? Why is this like granted, I'll give the Iron Man movie a little caveat. Yeah, it is their own thing. They set it up so that at the end that he could, like, maybe they set it up this way. Maybe they were already thinking like Iron Man was the guy who was going to save the Marvel universe and had the line like, and I am Iron Man. Right? Maybe they didn't. I don't freaking know. I know that they've always planned to have Thanos as like the number one villain in those 3 phases, because we see him at the end of the first Avengers movie. But yeah, I just don't see why we have to constantly reveal our face to strangers. But back to Spider-Man. It was one of the original movies that I was looking forward to. Now, for me, Spider-Noir, dude, I know it's a ripoff of a different comic, of a detective, like 10 series comic. If you guys go watch J-Man, he actually does talk about that stuff. Like, he's super into comics over there. I'm not saying I'm not into it, but I was your basic hoe. I read Dark Horse. I read some Hellboy comics. I usually stuck with Star Wars and mainly DC, and I did read Marvel comics. Frank Miller's Daredevil was like the one I kept going back to. I read some of the Logan stuff, Old Man Logan, and like, even though I think objectively Crisis or Kingdom Come is one of the best written comics, I personally have gripes with it. I just don't like Wonder Woman being the killer warrior she is, and then the whole breakup with Batman, and I have issues with it. I don't like seeing my heroes when they're old and they failed. You know what I mean? I love Batman Beyond. I like it a whole freaking lot. It sucks to see Bruce old and a failure. Like, Gotham still sucks. Gotham is still riddled with freaking violence and crime. Like literally villains, not even just like, oh yeah, there's still petty crime. But like, he didn't accomplish his mission. And then in the whole episode of how Ra's al Ghul, or Raish, never liked to pronounce Raish al Ghul, I like Ra's al Ghul took over Talia al Ghul's body and then was trying to use the Lazarus Pit on Bruce Wayne to make him young again so that he could take over Bruce Wayne's body. I believe the Bruce Wayne from the animated series and the Bruce Wayne, any iteration of Bruce Wayne, would have taken that chance if he gets old and he can recover his body through the Lazarus Pit without ramifications of damaging the brain. I think he would have done it all the way and went back to his prime age of 25. Like, imagine a Bruce Wayne, a Batman, 25 years of age. Maybe even go back to 21 years of age with all the experience of knowledge of being Batman with the Justice League, with Gotham, of 60 years of experience. He's roughly around 80 years old in Batman Beyond. So let's say he is 81. Bring him back to 21 with 60 years of Batman experience / being out having Alfred experience because he was teaching whatever his name is. I don't know why I'm spacing out. Terry McGinnis. Terry teaching him to be Batman. Now we got 2 Batman. That's a dynamic duo right there. I think he would have taken it. I don't think he would have stopped and be like, this is fake. Oh, this is not right. Bleh. Like, come on, dude. Like, if you're married to Wonder Woman, and I did kind of hate that they tied in that Batman Beyond with the Justice League animated series, because they made it clear that, you know, Wonder Woman and Batman were gonna get together. We didn't get to see it, but they were gonna get together. And then in the Batman Beyond, he does say like the only woman he pretty much insinuates the only woman he loved was Talia al Ghul. You know, and say what you want, I do like Damian Wayne as a character, as a Robin. I think he is solid. I think it is a little nuanced and it's refreshing. Did they F it up? Hell yeah. Did they do a ton of damage with the Injustice timelines and stuff like that, and saying that's most likely what would happen with Damian Wayne being in the universe? Yeah, that's a problem. But I think there's a way to correct it. You know, the DC universe has been revamped a billion times over, like every 5 years or so. But yeah, there's man, if studios could just hire some freaking nerds, man, some people that spent their whole life reading these comics and getting like a team of like 1,000 people just sharing ideas and coming up with a story and going forward, then we would get a great universe, because DC is more complicated than Marvel. It always has been, and it's better. It is better. Like, not the cinematic universe, but in terms of comics, I think DC has always been better. And Marvel has stolen so much from DC. A lot of the good stuff from Marvel came from DC first. So, yeah, I think it's much better. But anyways, yeah. So small recap: Star Wars sucks, is gay. Marvel, like I said, has a toe to stand on. They might revamp. They might recover. Doubt it. DC has been effed ever since The Dark Knight Rises. Ever since The Dark Knight Rises, we got all stinkers. A 5 out of 10 movie, The Batman, still sucks. And then we got the Penguin series, which was like the only good thing that we've had out of DC in terms of like DC superhero comics, not like DC V for Vendetta or something like that. Like, yeah, I might be wrong. No, I think I'm right. Dark Knight Rises was like the beginning of the end, just crashed and burned. We did get the Joker movie. Okay, I'll give you that. We got the Joker movie, a nice one-off movie, but it wasn't like a comic movie. It was using a comic villain to illustrate what can happen in the real world. Man, they did a really good job. You know, you were invested. It was a phenomenal movie. But yeah, DC unfortunately is freaking gonna be, and there's still the whole Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount situation. That's still a massive problem. Yeah, that's all I got to say for today. I am out, guys. We're chilling, we're vibing, and see you guys next time. Actually, hold up. I will be making more content related to Lego. I do have so small little announcements. I will be doing more Lego stuff talking about Lego and all that. But I just want to put that out there. And also, remember, reaction videos, just like that one brother who like commented. You guys go look at his comments. He had valid points, man. Valid points. You know, I effed up. But I think also remember, a reaction's a reaction. I'm going to react. And those are my initial thoughts. I'm not a genius. I'm a retard. I'm a beautiful, fantastic retard. But that's what I am. So I'm going to do a lot more reaction stuff because I'm excited about seeing new things. I get disappointed a whole lot. Grogu Mandalorian sure is pretty freaking garbage. But yeah, and I have those videos up right now on the channel. And you'll see me do more. And sorry if I was exhausted last stream, man. I was tired. And I saw I went back to see the stream and I was just like talking like this. So my bad. They can't all be bangers, dude. But okay. Now I'm out. Peace out, guys. What the freak?